Hello, it's Tim from Swimm, and I'm here with another short takes video from 0.4.4. This is from my staging environment, so it has a little orange banner up top. In the command line, I type swim stage instead of swim, but otherwise this is functionally identical to what you've got. We have some new features that I really want to go over with you. One of them is like the most requested feature ever with Swimm. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. One of the biggest requested features of all time has been exporting your Swimm documentation to Markdown. We now have that partially implemented to the point that it's usable both for script access as well as for IDE plugins such as VS Code. Let's take a look at how to do that. Go to any repository where you would like to have Markdown export enabled and go up here to the Integrations tab and click on this. That is going to enable exporting the Markdown, which is a very beta feature. Don't say we didn't warn you. And then at that point in time, you can run a command that will export all of your documentation to Markdown. Let's go ahead and run that now. And like I said, for you would type swim export -a, not swim stage. Boom, that's our Markdown file. And if you were paying attention, you would see something up here in VS Code in the .swm file folder. And you will see that there is a new directory in there called swm_md. This is the current location for export at Markdown. In the future, we will have some more granular controls over that, but this is where to look for it for now. And if you look in there, you will see that you have a bunch of files. These files ending in .md for Markdown match the parent files that they're created from with the swm suffix. And if you look at one of these, go inside, you can see the ID field for this is the same as the file name, which also correlates to the Markdown. So if you want to write a custom script to go through and export these in a different manner or apply different styling to them or whatever, you are welcome to do it. And if you need help with that, you can, of course, reach out to us. So that is totally done. Let's also take a look inside of VS Code now that I have that enabled at one of the things that I have documented. You can see here that I have a Swimm unit associated with a nearby snippet here. Let's click on this. Boom. You have your nice, beautiful Markdown rendered right there in VS Code, right where you need it, so that you can get to it. It works one way. Without this enabled, you will continue to open tutorials in Swimm. With it enabled, it will look for Markdown if it's there and prefer that. And you can see that these are, in fact, being staged and tracked by Git. If for some reason you don't want those files in there, or if you would rather write a script that puts in something else or something like that, you would have to add that to your .gitignore file. We don't recommend you do that right now. Just bear with us a little bit while we get some more creature comforts around the feature, and more updates should be coming out soon. The other thing that I want to show you is a big quality of life improvement to the editor. So I'm just going to go into here, into a place where I have some snippets. And you can see Swimm knows a lot about a lot of the symbols that I have in my code here. And as I go in there and I want to, let's say I wanted to add another narrative around something that I did here, I can just edit the stock. And I want to say something else about that do fizzbuzz function. So if you are in your editor and you open a code block and you start typing anything that matches a symbol that Swimm knows about in the snippet gallery, boom, you can see that comes up. That is super easy to select, and it will stay in sync with the rest of your code as you go through major refactorings and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about keeping that up to date. So not only does this help keep your hands on the editor where you need to be when you're in the zone and you're cranking out documentation, but you don't have to go back and, if you refactor something and, changing the name in every place in the documentation can be a little bit arduous, and Swimm's autosync can totally handle that for you. So we're going to cancel that because I don't want to save that just yet. I want to work on this some more. The other thing that I would like to point out isn't actually in Swimm or in VS Code, but it's actually here in my browser. And there will be a link for this in the video description or after the video where you can get to the blog post where we talk about this. But we have implemented more CI checks for Swimm. The first one is we now submit work with pre-commit. So if you want to run lint style checks prior to Git actually entering that transaction where the code gets committed, that is a great place to put the Swimm verify command or the Swimm coverage command, so that you can tell if you're checking in something where you have out-of-date documentation, or if you are introducing something that lowers the documentation coverage beyond something that you're comfortable with. And you can put that there. It will not, it runs on your machine. It's just like CI, except it runs on your machine. And it's really useful because you resolve a lot of common issues before you get to code review. And there's a lot of other things. I really encourage you to check out pre-commit if you haven't yet, because there's a lot of other things that you can put in there, and lints and all kinds of stuff that make the code review and pull request process much easier. So, as I said, a link will be in the description and at the end of the video for this to go to the blog post where we talk about it. That's pretty much it for this update. Thank you for your time. Keep swimming, and we'll talk to you soon. Take it easy.